And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, we are going to be talking about the second round of the playoffs and the matchups that I'm expecting and like who I think is going to end up coming out. But I want to amend my error from the previous segment. I said we only had one playoff series left. I lied. We have two left because the Cavs and the Magic, I completely forgot that they were playing their game today. So that's a little embarrassing that I just completely forgot. But it also shows just how bad the media coverage is for the Cavs and for the Orlando Magic in this series. Like, Paolo Banchero is averaging better numbers than Jason Tatum, and he's not. And I've seen more about Jason Tatum than I've seen about Paolo Banchero. Like, I have not seen one thing about Paolo Banchero, and it's annoying because it's like, how is he not getting the respect that I feel like he's due? But I digress. So, look, we'll start with the teams that we know are going to play in the next round. So, the teams that have been waiting patiently and are going to be playing, I believe, this Friday. I'm just going to double check just to make, not this Friday, actually, no, tomorrow. Excuse me, because today is Friday. I am, finals week. But regardless, so the Nuggets, they play tomorrow, and they're going to play the first game of the second round, and they play the Timberwolves, and they'll play at home in the first set of games. Who do I think will win? I have I think the Denver Nuggets. Like, I really struggle picking a team that beats that can beat the Denver Nuggets. I was only faithful towards the Lakers because they had LeBron James, and LeBron has several times in his career, his very long career, he's shown me that I should never doubt him until he's actually out of the playoffs. So I don't do that until I know that he's out, which is why I didn't do that until I knew that he was out. But regardless, these are so I have the Nuggets winning in 7. Now, what I got from the first round was that Minnesota was a lot better of a team than what I thought they were. Like, I knew they would. I had a feeling that they could win against the Suns. Like, there was a chance, but I didn't think they were going to sweep them. So, and obviously that could, like, just be in part to the fact that, like, the offense that the Suns were running is a little bit inefficient, especially, like, with the players that they were using to run that offense. But it was a sweep that I just didn't see coming. And they're better than I expected, but Denver is the lights just went out again. What is going on? Regardless, Denver just seems unbeatable. And like, it might just be because, like, you know, the Lakers were having big leads and they were just finding a way to come back. And that might have just been like the Lakers choking more so than it was the Denver Nuggets being a very legitimate team. But I don't think that. I think it might be a little bit a mix of both, with more so Denver Nuggets being a really good team. And I just can't see myself picking any other team against Denver to win. But I do think Minnesota will put up a pretty good fight in the series and they will take this to I think they will take this to 7 games. But the next series is the Pacers and the Knicks. So this is one of those series that I'm like, again, I'm still rather concerned because I have no idea how these Knicks are going to play, especially with how because I understand this Pacers defense is really, really bad, but one thing that has got me concerned is Tom Thibodeau and his use of the starting lineup and the rotations for the Knicks. Every single player on the Knicks barely sits out. Like, they play a lot of minutes in these games, and that requires a lot of running back and forth, which requires a lot of cardio, which means you're going to be out of breath a long time. So, the fact that you're going to be out of breath means that you're going to need to try to save your breath to play some offense. You got to save your breath to play offense. You're not going to play defense. What do the Pacers do? They score really quickly on offense, and they torch your defense. So I'm sort of afraid of how the rotations are going to favor when going up against this offense, because it's a very high-paced offense. It's very fast. There's like barely a second where they like just take a breather and relax. And the Knicks are a team they are a team that values the defense, and which is one thing that I do see like working to their advantage. I genuinely don't know whether or not they can keep up with the pace 24/7 up and down the field, up and down the court all the time. Field, court, I intermingle with those two. I don't know like how they're going to do that. Like, it just sounds like a lot to ask for 5 athletes to just run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and expect to play 100% every single second. Because in the playoffs, usually, like, you know, the pace, it slows down just a little bit. It becomes more of a half-court game. But with these Pacers, they were just saying, nope, throw the ball down court, and they still haven't given up with that high-paced offense. Obviously, there are more instances where it's like, okay, let's relax, let's slow down a little bit. But that doesn't really happen. That's not really the case in most of these times. And I'm really skeptical of how the lineup and the rotations are going to work. More so how the rotations are going to work as opposed to the lineup. But other than that, I think that obviously, like, I do have the Knicks winning this series. I have them winning in 6, because this Pacers team, like, while I was saying that their offense is very potent, this offense also had a difficult time in stopping the Bucks without either of their best players. And obviously, like, you have to take into account that because they're so high-powered on offense, that there's a chance that their offense might be a little hit or miss. And they might be, like, their offense might be miss on the day. And that's the entirety of the offense that the Pacers have, and which allows the Knicks to sort of steal that game if they have an off game. But it's like the chances of them having an off game and the other team winning are much higher, because it's like the Pacers don't have the defense to fall back on. Similar to the Knicks, unsimilar to the Knicks, to how they have the defense to fall back on. So the Thunder and the Celtics, they are the only other team right now that does not have a team to match up against in the semi-conference finals, simply because their teams are still playing. So it's either between the Clippers or the Dallas Mavericks to go up against the Thunder. If the Clippers end up going up against the Thunder, I honestly think the Thunder could come out on top. Like, I genuinely think they could come out on top. And I have the Thunder beating the Clippers in 6 games, honestly. Like, just based off of, I understand that, like, the Pelicans, they did not have Zion, and that was sort of like a little bit, so honestly, like, yeah, I think 6 games it's very understandable for this OKC team. But if they go up against the Mavericks, I'm not entirely sure. I think the Mavericks have I think they'll have a better shot of beating them, and will take the game to 7 games and beat them in 7 games. That's what I think is going to happen for if they play Dallas. Now, if the Celtics, they have either between the Cavs or the Orlando Magic to play. And I honestly don't think it matters what team they play against. I genuinely do not think it matters what team they play against in the postseason. I think they're going to win it. And there's really, like, no debate. I genuinely think that they're going to easily win it without a doubt. And there's not really much that needs to be said because, like, the Boston Celtics, they've shown us how dominant they are. They've shown us how good they can be without Jason Tatum even playing that well. And they've shown just how much firepower their team has both on offense and on defense. There's really it's really difficult to argue between any other team other than that team. So that's all I have for this fourth segment, and that's basically the end for the podcast, and that's the end for the show for for the day. Excuse me. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And as always, I'd like to remind all of you to please remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker on every single show segment. That is gsmcpodcast.net. Really helps the show, makes the show much more interactive between myself and you guys. And that is the end of the show. Thank you all once again for tuning in. I am your host, Nelson. And as always, take care. I will see you guys back on Monday with a full recap ready for all of the playoff games that are going to be going down over the weekend. If the games do get decided, or it obviously, because it depends on if the Cavs, they go into a 7-game series, or if the Mavericks, they also go into a 7-game series, because right now it's just elimination games, and depending on who wins the elimination game, then we'll play on in the next round. But regardless, we'll see how the rounds look going into the weekend. We'll see if a Game 7 is necessary and all of that. But that's basically it for the show. I'm your host, Nelson, and have a wonderful day. And as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.